right, Charlie, what do you want to finish this off with?
Yeah.
We got a
So
hard
the one
stop.
I keep, nibbling at every time, we see a little softness in prices is the theme is real estate. And honestly, for the last 3 quarters, banks have talked more and more positively about real estate. So I think REITs have been working. But so the three names I wanted to just highlight again, Flagstar FLG is a turnaround from commercial real estate getting better. And then the other two are sort of apartment or apartment rental REITs, Essex Properties ESS and Avalon Bay AVB. And those have been working. They're not. I'm not going up 20% or 40% a day like some of the tech names are, but they've been grinding steadily higher. And I think they all have good stories. So I just wanted to reiterate that I believe, Flagstar I think can be a 17, $18 stock by the end of this year because the turnaround story is gaining, credibility and tangible books around 17. Essex and Avalon Bay are more 27, 28 stories, but it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy these days. And we got housing data at the beginning of this week, new home sales, and while they were better than expected, still at a 4.17 million annual rate. That's fairly, punk, if you will. And then the
Yeah.
supply of unsold homes hit a high of 1.55 million, which is about 4.5 months of supply. We haven't seen a 1.5 million, 55 million supply of new homes in 4 or 5 years. I think the housing market is still weak. We get Lennar
And
after the close
that's
tonight.
interest rates and price, Charlie. Price is still
No, the
too high. Interest
1.5 is
rates
the
still
number
too
of
high.
units. Oh,
No, I'm
yeah,
saying that.
it's rates. Yeah, the affordability index has been deteriorating again. So the new home sales that was reported earlier this week really reflects what happened 2 months ago when mortgage rates were a little bit lower. So I think the next number of new homes is going to be a much weaker number. And then the new home builders are still having to inject a lot of incentives to move their product, and their spec inventory continues to build. As I said, we get Lennar tonight after the close. People are looking for $1.25 down from $1.90 a year ago. So again, margins are still getting squeezed by the amount of incentives they're having to offer to move product. So I don't see a lot of interest in the home builders from my perspective, but I do think these apartment REITs are attractive.
Okay. All right.
Charlie,
Some good ideas.
are you still worried about a bear market in commercial real and housing real estate over the next 2, 3 years?
Absolutely, I am. I still think we've got another 15, 20% correction in home prices. I think, contrary to what we saw during the great financial crisis, this is not going to be nationwide. It's going to be pockets. So it's going to be Austin or, St. Petersburg or Denver, maybe not Boston or, Cleveland, Ohio. But so, yeah, I do think that home prices still are going to be a problem. Now, what the distinction I've made is it's not going to be a problem for the banking system. They've been very good and very conservative in their underwriting. So I don't see huge losses for the banking system. Where I see it playing a role is reducing the wealth effect at the upper end of the consumer. And so and we've had that already. We've had 2 quarters in a row now where residential real estate values have declined quarter over quarter. So in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, I think we'll get a third decline in this first quarter when the data gets reported a little bit later. And that negative wealth effect, if combined with some sort of significant stock market correction, is what's going to cause the upper end consumer to stop spending. And they are the sole source of spending in this economy right now. And I think that's coming before year end, but I've been waiting.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got some investment banking deals to get off the get
Yeah.
off the ground here before the end of June or July.
And
When
don't,
are the
don't
when are those
underestimate the
two other big
greed to
ones?
get that done. Sorry, go ahead.
What's that?
I was just saying, don't underestimate the greed on Wall Street to make sure that gets done. They are a very
100%.
powerful unit that wants to get paid big bonuses at the end of this year. So They're going to try and hold things together to get the deals.
My opinion on the big deal SpaceX, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but that's me. Despite the fact that I own it, because I gave a guy a hedge fund a small amount of money, and he put a small amount of money in it at an 80 billion market cap. So,
oh my goodness,
I'll turn out to have about $50,000 worth of SpaceX stock.
If any of you haven't followed Ben Bry's writings on SpaceX, you should go to Stock Kings and read his latest piece on the Mississippi scandal and his write up on SpaceX. He's done a fabulous job there.
Yeah, that's our chat behind the paywall that Charlie's referring to. Ben published his essay there late last night. He's been working on that.
Now,
for
Ben and I talk extensively about that, and I told him though you got to have a hedge in case it keeps working. Most of us are rational, valuation sensitive guys, right? And the amount of tech stocks we have with AI exposure is very limited in our portfolios. So that's why I can't sell Silicon Motion, because it's the only, and Intest.
It's the only exposure you got.
The only exposure I got left. I sold other ones already, and that turned out to be ridiculously dumb. So you gotta have a bull market, an AI bull market hedge, even if you don't believe
Essex Property, ESS, is my AI play because they're very big in the San Francisco area, and so their rents and occupancies are going up because of they deal with high-end properties, rental properties, and they're fully occupied because of the money that's coming out of AI. So that's my hedge.
All right. Good play. Real estate and AI, tech all in one. All right, gentlemen. Thanks for the great input today. We got some great ideas. We will be back here on Monday. So have a great day. We will see you soon. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jen.